Hello there, Bradley from B-Rad TV here. Update you of my progress of recovery, finding myself after this recent breakup. I've relapsed a little bit, had a couple of bad days. I've been thinking through things, and if you haven't seen some of the introduction ones, it was a relationship. The other person ended it, complete shock to me. No bad blood, they weren't happy, but it was a shock to me. That's why I think I'm on the hurting end of it. Now in the last video, as I sort of mentioned, I was so broken and sort of just confused and scared and just wasn't happy with myself before this relationship. So I really wanted it so badly. That's why I invented this fantasy. And I just wanted to know the how and the why. Why was I in that position where I felt that I needed it so badly? I needed this other person, that I was just so incomplete. And you've got to be so careful that you're not just dwelling and being upset and thinking of the past and thinking, oh boo-hoo, I've lost this, it's over, just to torture yourself. And then also, so I'm a storyteller, a poet, I overthink things anyway, so the last thing I want to do is just sit there and invent some mad story. And I'm sort of speaking to my family and friends as well as I'm working through this. But the how and the why this happened to me, because I want to know so I can learn it doesn't happen again. And I'm pretty clear I've figured it out as much as you can. Figure things out and get a clear answer for issues of the mind and the soul and the heart. And scarily, it goes back a couple of years. And if you've followed me on YouTube and Instagram, you won't know what I'm about to say, but you might be able to timeline it and see certain things. I mean, I've put on a brave face in some of the videos, but yeah, it goes back a little bit. So in a nutshell, for the bulk of 2017, I was dating someone pretty much on the other side of the world. And at the end of 2017, I mean, it was a loving, committed, serious relationship. End of 2017, I ended it. And I was unsure about that decision. But then with relationships and things, there's never any sort of like black and white, it's like grey areas. And you make decisions, you live with them. I made that decision at the time, so some part of me must have wanted it. But I sort of doubted that decision at the time. I wasn't sure if I'd made it for the right reasons. I think I used the distance as an excuse. But we stayed in contact. And then at the beginning of 2018 then, I started that Brad bulks up thing, to not think about the end of that relationship and the decision I'd made. I threw myself into the gym, lifting heavy weights, eating twice as many calories. You might remember this on YouTube if you followed me then. And that went on for, let's say, a few months. And so we were in contact. And then contact went quiet. And that's because she met someone. And that ship sailed, as it were. And that is when it did hit me. The bulking up thing stopped. If you remember, that journey just went, whoop, no more. So I was dealing with that as a failure. I then hated myself for making that decision. I remember thinking I had made the wrong decision at that point. I thought I'd had this wonderful thing and I got rid of it. And I'm an idiot and I'm the scum of the earth and I'm the worst person. I've ruined my life. And then not only that, the gym thing that I thought I was doing, I was really good with, I failed at that. So then I hated myself for failing at that. And then also the heartbreak and then letting go of her and her being with someone else, and that was like, that hit me. And then it was straight back to the default from years ago: partying, alcohol, one night stands, mad misadventures of sex all over the shop, painkillers to get rid of a hangover, painkillers and drowsy medicine at night to make me sleep if I wasn't. And I hated myself for that behaviour. But then I'd drink to forget and party and fuck and whatever just to forget and not think about it. So that was just a spiral. Just every day. And then everything else I'd do, it got worse and worse. Thankfully though, I stopped it. I nipped it in the bud. I think I did a month without alcohol in the middle of 2018. And then of course did the big journey later. But after I did that month without alcohol and the partying stopped, I then sort of remembered, look, I'm not a one-night stand party idiot. I felt a lot more comfortable in a relationship. I then went on dating apps for the first time, Tinder, met a few girls, I mean, like, hung out, hooked up, had a sort of mini thing with, like, one mainly, but then El Pasión, the passion just wasn't there. So that fizzled out. And I'm still, at this point, carrying the guilt, the regret, feeling like I'd ruined my life, failed at the bodybuilding, and then also now I've failed at Tinder dating. I just thought, well, that's it, I can't do that either. Like, what, I'm like half a man, I'm like broken. And it was headphones in, hat on, glasses on, wandering around. I just didn't want to see anyone. I really lost the faith. And then, as if by magic, as by some genie, just appeared my now ex, just in my life. Bang, there you go. I say my type. I don't discount people and how they look, but I mean physically attracted to her. My type in like every way. Lovely, non-smoker like me, just a good person, and we had a connection. But then, say within less than 7 months, got serious, moving together. So it's like that's a quick time frame. And even early on in the relationship, I remember saying to one of my friends that he has brought up recently, and I remember clearly, I said, I've got to be careful here because I feel like this girl is going to save my life. I said I'm going to fall in love with her because she's saving me. She is going to save me. So I was in with both feet and was just totally there. And you can see why, and I can see why I maybe invented this fantasy, thought I needed it and needed her because I was so broken. I hadn't let go of all the guilt and the shame and the regret from before. I'm not saying I wasn't over the long distance relationship. I'm talking about is that decision and then all that behaviour that followed after and all the failures that just seemed to pile up on top of me and made me feel pathetic. And what I didn't do after that breakup, obviously, was seriously think about what I want and what I'm doing. Saying, knowing this now, this isn't just a whiny video, this is me, say, having to go through all these thoughts and figure this out because I'm feeling a bit like this pathetic half man nothing right now. That's what set me on this little thinking journey, because I sat here and thought, oh no, I feel like I did before the relationship. And I was like, well, hang on, why did I feel like this before that? And it worked back from there. What's happened has happened, and I'm where I am. I think it was a Joe Rogan thing I saw ages ago. I think it was even about relationships. Or was it something going wrong in your life? I'm not sure. It was a Joe Rogan thing. You can know the reasons behind everything and why and what happened at the timeline and what things went wrong and whatever, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. All that can change anything is how you react and how you deal with it. So I know that my self-esteem is at rock bottom. I walk around and I'm feeling just weak, like a failure, like a pathetic, I don't know, not a man, just broken. I need to get my oomph back, my zest back. I mean, I run around New York City dressed up as a Ghostbuster, as an elf, like I did a Christmas Santa jackass in New York. I write my books, man, I've done acting stuff. I get out in the world. I'm more confident walking up to strangers in a bar and having a chat than I am any sort of weird app on the phone. Like, I was a confident guy. I can be again. If I seriously, back last year I was hating myself. Like, I don't say hate myself right now, even though I do feel guilty and ashamed and regretful and I'm feeling like a bit of a waste of space. I don't sort of like actively hate what I'm doing because I know I'm trying, or I want to be better. I want to be my best self. I haven't totally given up, that's the thing. Right, my whole point is I recognised the underlying issues were my self-esteem, my confidence, me not being on the right path or being my best self. And now I sit here, if anything, I want to say thank you to my ex for making me realise this. I didn't realise I was so broken, because if you don't care or you can't care about yourself, you can't care about someone else. Don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. I mean, right now with this information, it's very clear to me that I'm not sat here feeling like nothing just because my girlfriend dumped me and I had to move out and now I'm somewhere on my own. And that's, even though that is quite a bit of a gut punch, a bit of a soul punch, it's very much me not being my best self by a long shot and carrying all the guilt and the shame and the regret of that past relationship decision, everything through that year. So before I even think about any sort of relationship or anything like that, I've got to forgive myself. I've got to accept that what is in the past, let go, learn and move on. That's big. That's big, that is. When the relationship goes, you sort of see all the underlying little things, and Bradley did not have his affairs in order. But now I know that's what I've got to focus on. Even so I don't feel confident, I'll go through the motions and I'll try. I've worked today, I'm not totally exhausted, but I'm just a bit, I don't care. But I'm going to go through the motions. Pre-workout, no explode. I only pour this out on special occasions. I'm going to put Rammstein in. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to clean my diet. I've had a few lazy days, just didn't have breakfast, then stuffed my face all afternoon and evening. Didn't go to the gym. Just really been quite low, but I've been figuring all this out. Yeah, it's not that I don't care, I just, real low confidence. But I'm sure that going to the gym, I'm going to start my next book. I'm going to start talking about a lot more on here. Watch this space. That's what I need to focus on, that's what I want to do, that's what I love and create and what my passion was and can be. When I was talking to somebody about my creative projects, and I started smiling and laughing and my energy just went through the roof, and even afterwards, after the conversation, I felt enthused and buzzed up. So I've just got to say, go through the motions of that. I'm not going to roll over and die. I'm not going to overeat, overdrink, become a fat, useless alcoholic. I'm not going to lay in bed and think about all the bad decisions I may have made. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, focus on my goals, forgiving myself, letting go, learning, and moving on, moving forward, becoming my best self and working hard and being the creative, physically active, healthy person inside and out I know I can be, and I know that I deserve to be. This feels more like a story time or just a catching up on things. So I guess it is me just filling you in on where I'm going, what I'm thinking. Hopefully there's something here you could use. It might make you think about something, or say somebody you know going through a hard time, breakup or otherwise. Something here might spark off something and help. Thank you for all the support out there. Incredibly grateful. Watch this space, man. I want this YouTube thing. I want to get back to myself. You're still here, don't give up. You're still here, don't give up. Thanks for all the support. Look after yourselves, take care, and be rad.